Hello everyone, this is Rishu Raj and I have been recommended from 3 AFSB Gandhinagar. I have cleared the NDA exam for 142 entry and I have joined the Senaabhyas Educational Center for my SSB training. I went to SSB from 14th to 18th of January 2019 and my journey there was quite interesting. It started off with a screening test with the OIR and then the PPDT. Here the Brigadier sir often told us about suicide bombers, which will often meet in the GD of the PPDT. But what I faced was a suicide squad. Everyone there was ready to speak and jump in at any point of time. So you have to make your impression in the initial minutes. And I initiated the GD there, and it helped me because after I had initiated, everyone was trying to speak and no one allowed anyone to speak. So that helped me. After that, what I feel in the overall SSB is that you have to be attentive to the instructions given to you, because that is what helps you. And when I to start off after the screening process, the next day was the group testing, and I had been given 2 GDs. The group had been given 2 GDs to discuss upon. Like the first one was that despite having a GDP growth rate of despite having a very high GDP growth rate, India is still lacking in the Indians are still poor, and so there is what can be the reason for this. So we had a nice group discussion, because by the time the group discussion starts in the GT, we all are familiar with ourselves, and everyone there is starting to help each one out so that they can get help in the command task. So in that everyone was letting others speak, but at the same time what mattered was that everyone was trying to do reference speaking. There was no random speaking involved, and so that was also a nice advice given to us by Brigadier sir. In the psych tests also, the TAT stories were quite good, because we had been taught by third sir that all we had to do was not to display our character as a negative one. Positivity in character is required, and in the story as well. So thinking about that part, the rest, it is all up to your imagination what the stories that you are writing. So that was also a nice thing. Apart from the group discussion and the lecturer, I spoke on the topic of Indian education system, and apart from that, the progressive group tasks and the half group tasks also were quite good, because we had been taught the different kind of knots and how to use the plank and the bully wisely. So we were able to complete all the 4 obstacles within the stipulated time. After that, when the first day of the group testing finished, we had fared well in almost all the tasks given to us. The next day was the group obstacle race, and the obstacles there were quite similar to what we had seen here. In the individual obstacle also, the obstacles that we had practiced upon in the Senaabhyas Academy were quite helpful in removing the fear that we had. After that, we had the command task, in which I was given a quite difficult command task to perform, but because of seeking for proper help and knowing the strengths and weaknesses of other candidates as well, it was important that I chose the right person for the job, and so we had to plan accordingly, and I finished the command task as well, though I took too much time, like 14 or 15 minutes, but it was completed. In the interview, my advice will be to stay as normal and as original as you can, because in fact towards the end the originality will always come out. So if you are being a fake at the beginning of the interview, it will become negative for you towards the end. And one more thing is that you should never shy away from accepting your mistakes. Accepting your mistakes in the interview is an important thing, but what is more important is what you have done to improve upon that mistake. And that was an advice given to us by Brigadier sir, and it helped me, because whenever I spoke of a mistake, I also highlighted that what steps I have taken to overcome that mistake, and the interviewer seemed quite impressed upon that. Apart from that, you should not be too much into serving your country while answering the questions there. You have to be original and you have to be simple in your answers. Like if they ask you why do you want to become an Airforce pilot or the pilot of a fighter plane, one should never say that because they want to bombard the enemy bunkers, or because you want to drop missiles on other countries. The answer should be as simple as because you want to fly in the sky and you want to carry the high speed along with you. And that was the question I was asked personally, and I gave the same answer that I have spoken just now. Apart from that, the help that Senaabhyas had given me was to boost up my confidence. I had been a debater and I was good with the communication skills, but when you participate in a debate, there is always you speak when you are given a chance. But there, whether in the GD or the lecturate, you are not given a chance. You'll have to speak by your own. You have to take the initiative to speak, because no one is going to tell you to speak. And that was something that I learned here, because initially when I came, I was always waiting for everyone to be silent so that when everyone is silent, then I'll speak. But those things do not happen. Here, participating in the GDs, I learned to improve upon my speaking skills, and also I learned how to take initiative when you are coming into a GD. And entering the GD at the right time is very crucial, because otherwise people don't let you speak. Also, since there are 4 GDs involved in the entire selection process, participating in the GD is a very important aspect of being selected. And apart from the GDs, there are also you have to improve upon your written skills, because after all, in the psych test, what matters is the stories that you write. You have to improve upon that. And personally speaking, physical fitness matters to a very little extent, because I also was able to do only 5 or 6 obstacles in the individual obstacle course, but that did not hamper my chances for being recommended, because what matters is your determination, whether you are trying or not, and the fear that shows up on your face. So overcoming our fears and having the determination to do is important in the group testing phase. While in the interview, it is your liveliness, your originality, and the depth of your answers. And in the psych test, your positivity matters. So overall, it was a nice experience, and I enjoyed my time here at the Senaabhyas Educational Center, as well as 3 AFSB Gandhinagar.